This car is the finest example of Dutch Darrin coachwork on the planet. Perhaps the most beautifully designed Packard ever done by the man that almost everybody agreed could draw a prettier line on a piece of paper than anybody else in the world. It is a car that the museum, from a collection standpoint, would love to keep forever.
My father started building cars in 1922 in Paris, France. And subsequently he built custom cars, coach-built cars for the one percenters. And later on he got into actually designing production cars for Kaiser and for Willys Jeep and, of course, Packard.
It was the greatest status symbol you could have in the automotive world. The great coach-built cars were marriages between outstanding design by a very few very talented designers who always wanted to put their coach work on a car that was going to last forever because they considered what they were building to be a work of art. It wasn't just a car anymore, it was a work of art.
These custom-built cars, these coach-built cars, if you were to value them in today's money, they would have cost the clients $2 million, $1.5 million. My father built bodies on Packards from the 20s up to the 40s. This car, to my father, had a very historical significance. It was one of the last cars that he built in France, and it was the prototype for the Packard Darrins that he built in the future.
I think that Dutch, in this car, found the perfect proportion for length, for positioning of the cockpit, and for width. One of the most difficult things to do with any open car that's a sporty car is to figure out how to stow the top when it's down so it doesn't look big and bulbous and ungainly. Dutch actually had a mechanism, which you can see on this car, for stowing the top bows. The top bows kind of folded up and then they drop into the rear cowl that he had a patent on. I mean, nobody else could build them that way.
It was equivalent of a tailor, basically, who a client would come and have a suit made for him. Well, he made a suit of clothes for cars.
We have been recognized as one of the top 10 auto museums in America, not just from a popularity standpoint, but the Society of Automotive Historians gave us an award for the preservation of original source materials in the world of automotive history. In order to make sure we're here 100 years from now, we can't keep everything. And in order to make a major jump in our endowment fund, we need to sell something significant.
The future caretaker of this car will get a historically significant vehicle. It is the progenitor of the Packard Darrin car, which was the most famous of all Packards.